Imagine walking down the street one day minding your business when an old friend waves you down. You're taken aback. It's been a while since you've seen each other. You remember him as a bit of a jinx, always surrounded by some misfortune or another. You exchange pleasantries, ask about each other's lives, and then it starts. The friend begins to recount his latest woes. It's a fresh saga of mishaps, a new chapter in his ongoing series of unfortunate events. He's lost his job, his car broke down, his pet ran away, the list goes on. As he talks, you can't help but feel a pang of sympathy, a twinge of discomfort. The air around you seems to grow heavier with his every word. His tales of woe are not just stories, they're a palpable cloud of negativity, casting a shadow over your previously bright day. His problems, his unhappiness, they're infectious. They seep into your thoughts, tinge your mood, and suddenly, you're carrying a burden that isn't even yours to bear. This, my friends, is the power of emotional contagion. It's like a ripple effect. His misfortune, his discontent, it doesn't just stay with him, it spreads, it reaches out, it touches those around him, and you standing there listening to his tales of despair, you're the first in line. The more you listen, the more his problems become your problems. His misfortune becomes your misfortune, his unhappiness your unhappiness. You're no longer just a bystander, an innocent friend caught in the crossfire, you're now a part of his narrative, his cycle of bad luck and despair. Suddenly you're not just hearing about his problems, you're feeling them. They're weighing you down, pulling at your mood. You're feeling drained, exhausted. And for what? For a problem that isn't even yours to solve. That encounter with your friend, as brief as it might have been, has left you feeling emotionally drained and even a bit down yourself. It's then that you realize the truth behind the 10th law of power. Infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. This is where Law 10 comes into play. Infection, avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Now let's delve into the heart of this law. The concept of infection here isn't about physical disease. Rather, it's an emotional contagion that spreads from one person to another. When we say unhappy and unlucky, we're referring to individuals who are consistently surrounded by negativity and misfortune. They might not be bad people, but their constant state of misery and misfortune can become contagious. Think of it this way, emotions are like a ripple in a pond. Toss a stone and the ripples spread out, affecting the entire surface of the water. Similarly, when someone around you is constantly unhappy or unlucky, their emotions can ripple out and affect your own emotional state. This ripple effect might seem insignificant at first, a slight dip in mood here, a bit of bad luck there. But over time, these minor disturbances can grow, leading to a significant impact on your own happiness, luck, and overall well-being. We're all susceptible to it. It's part of being human. That's why it's crucial to maintain a positive and stable emotional state. It's not about ignoring the problems of others or being cold-hearted. Rather, it's about understanding that your emotional health is vital. It's about knowing when to step back and protect your peace of mind from the negative ripples that can come from the unhappy and unlucky. You might be wondering, how do I distinguish between those who are merely going through a rough patch and those who are perpetually stuck in a cycle of negativity? That's a valid question, and we'll address it in the next scene. But for now, let's focus on understanding the importance of this law. It's not just about avoiding negative people. It's about recognizing the power of emotional contagion and understanding that our emotional well-being is a precious resource that needs protection. In essence, Law 10 is about protecting your energy and emotional health from those who may unintentionally harm it. Now that we understand the law, how do we apply it to our lives? Let's delve into the practical steps to implement Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. The first step is setting boundaries. This is a crucial part of self-care and maintaining mental health. It means recognizing what is and isn't your responsibility and allowing yourself to say no when necessary. This might sound simple, but in practice it can be quite challenging, especially when dealing with those close to us. Next, learn to say no. It's a small word but packed with power. It's okay to decline invitations, opt out of negative conversations, or refuse to engage with draining individuals. This is not about being rude or dismissive, it's about preserving your mental and emotional energy. Then, distance yourself from chronically negative individuals. These are people who seem to be perennially unhappy or unlucky, and their negativity can be infectious. This doesn't mean you should shun these people, but rather, limit your exposure to them. Surround yourself with positive people who inspire you, uplift you, and make you want to be a better version of yourself. It's also important to note that this law is not promoting a lack of empathy or compassion. It's about preserving your own well-being. We all have a limited amount of emotional energy. If we spend too much of it on others' problems, we risk depleting our own reservoirs. And finally, don't feel guilty about prioritizing your emotional health. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. In fact, it's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. By taking care of your own emotional health, you're better equipped to help others in a more meaningful and sustainable way. In implementing Law 10, you'll find that you have more energy, positivity, and resilience to face life's challenges. You'll become a source of positive influence rather than being influenced by negativity. Remember, it's not about being cruel or heartless, it's about safeguarding your well-being. Let's take a moment to revisit what we've covered about Law 10. In essence, this law draws attention to the concept of emotional infection. It suggests that emotions, particularly negative ones, can be as contagious as a common cold. By spending time with unhappy and unlucky individuals, we risk catching their negativity and misfortune, much like a virus. This law isn't about shunning those who are going through a rough time, but rather about choosing not to let their emotional state affect your own well-being. To implement Law 10, it's about setting boundaries and recognizing when someone's constant negativity is starting to impact your mood, your mindset, and even your luck. Ultimately, Law 10 is a reminder of the importance of protecting your emotional health and maintaining your own happiness and success. By understanding and applying Law 10, you take an active role in protecting your emotional health and ensuring your own happiness and success.